Jay Dilla's legacy is more to us, the fans, than what it's probably ever generated to him monetarily and his family.
Now, do you guys remember the conversation we had about the box set with the acapellas and you remember that stuff? We were talking about that. So I just got a question. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not going to reference anything because I think it's two sides to it, right? How do we feel about the production company / estate collaborations that enable unreleased music to come out by some of the OGs and some of the legends? Because some people will say it's not necessary. Like, just let the OG be the OG and just go through some back catalog or whatever. Some people as fans will say we would love to hear new music. Like, we would love to hear unreleased music from, legendary artists. Dilla? Well, you can say Dilla if you want. But what do you think about that, man? Because I could see from a fan's perspective, new Dilla. Hey, it's not about the fans' perspective, though. That's why I'm just throwing it out there. I'm asking what. It's not about the fans' perspective because if the fans want everything, you know what I mean. Okay. But what does the artist want? Well, we don't know because the artist has passed away, and sometimes we don't know if even family members and even estates have the artist's best interest at heart. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. Because I see what you're saying on the back end with the. And it also depends on the artist. Is it an artist that has already released a ton of music, that had a bunch of music that was slated to release? And like, for example, I'm not interested in hearing any more tucked away Dilla stuff. Okay. I'm not interested in hearing any more tucked away Mac Miller stuff. I'm not really other than the one with Madlib. I ain't gonna lie, I want to hear that. I'm personally not interested in hearing that because they said it when he was alive. He did. Obviously, he made it all. Well, I mean, it was already. Well, what I mean by that is they actually recorded it and just never put it out. But they were not intending to release anything intentionally. Okay. So, same with Nipsey. Like, I don't know. It's one thing if it's within a certain period of time, but when it comes out way later and it's like a part of an official release. Me personally, that's what I am not interested. Okay, I'm not interested. It's still, to me, it depends on what it is. Like a few years back, they released a Marvin Gaye album that he actually was going to release, but didn't do it because of the time, so to speak. So it would have caused trouble with maybe his record label or his fans if he had released it back then because of political reasons. Right. They ended up releasing it like within the last few years. And it was something that he had already finished and accomplished before he passed away. I have no issues with that. I think things like that, it's cool to let it go because he's already familiar with how it sounded. They didn't add or tweak anything. They might have made it sound a little better, but it's the essence of the album when it came out. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm cool with if the Mac Miller and Madlib joint, if that comes out, I'm good with that. If people are just hopping on beats and stuff and he didn't even know you, talking about like Dilla, essentially. If you weren't one of the Soquarians or anything like that, then I'm probably not feeling that. Yeah, I guess it is more nuanced, and I think to your point, it depends on the story behind it, and it depends on like everything involved. The Mac, if I learn more about this Mac Miller and Madlib thing, and are they actually putting it out? I didn't think they were going to. I just heard rumors. I heard rumors that it exists, and I knew that it exists. They were thinking about, but I also heard that like, nah, it's like Madlib. I'm pretty sure it was Madlib said, nah, it's not coming out. It's not coming out because it was they just made some records. But I don't know. I think as long as it just has to be tasteful. It just has to be tasteful. That's the only thing, and a lot of people don't understand what that means. And I think that's a struggle sometimes. So, especially in the music industry. What you think, Jay?
It's hard because I've enjoyed some posthumous releases, Sometimes they get it right. Or songs rather, maybe not full releases. After Machiavelli, which was finished before Pac passed. Right. I really don't have. I like a couple records here and there, but by and large, I didn't like anything that came out after he died that was put together without any of his input.
I'll take "Are You Still Down"?
No, not me.
I'm gonna take some of that because it's some records. There's some joints on there. I'm gonna take "Are You Still," not the whole thing, but I'm gonna take some records off "Are You Still." And then the Outlaws album, there's some joints on there.
Still I Rise joint, yeah.
But I see where you're going though. I see where you're going.
But I and then like I try to revisit like the it was the Biggie Duets record.
Now that
wasn't it. And then Born Again, I was like,
both of those are not good.
Yeah,
not good at all.
Have not aged well. Because honestly, Biggie was a guest on like he didn't have a whole bunch of extra stuff just laying around like Pac did. Pac had whole albums recorded that we never saw, but they weren't put out in the same form in which he had intended.
Right.
You know, they were just kind of slapdash thrown together, and I know they had to take some stuff and not use it because he was still talking crazy about people. Right. You know, and they didn't want any of those bad feelings to be out there after he died. But I just am not interested. I mean, like, it'd be one thing if it was like Dilla beat tapes. I know those were floating around on you know, the internet, and maybe if you made an official release to where it's just not me with a bunch of bootlegs. And there were things that were never intentionally, and you put those out, okay, because I have enjoyed those to a certain extent, and I'd love to be able to stream them and listen to them, but I don't want all of a sudden for you to have, you know, the baby rhyming over Jay Dilla beats. But I wouldn't feel that same way if Common, who they were roommates at one point in California,
good point.
You know, rapped over something that he had done.
Yeah,
so once again, that's where we talk about nuance. You know, just don't let, you know, Sweetie or Coi Leray or any of these new rappers say, yeah, let's just give them a Jay Dilla beat for visibility, and Jay Dilla would have never worked with any of these people. You know, Jay Dilla worked with a core group of people. You couldn't. I mean, I feel like it's a situation where probably more people wanted beats from him, but they couldn't get them.
I mean, he had beat tapes out there. He had a lot of beat tapes.
Beat tapes out there.
But you know, I but
a lot of people, you know, like they pray at the altar of Jay Dilla now after he's dead.
They didn't purchase those beats when he was sending them tapes out. You know, now it's the end thing, or it's the hip hop thing now to be hip to Jay Dilla, whereas, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't so when he was alive.
For sure. I have a problem with that. Yeah. Personally.
Yes.
So now for some credibility, you'll be like, I'm gonna get a Jay Dilla beat.
And this was happening like 10 years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. I mean, this is not really a super new thing, but you know, if it happened now, I would just kind of even look at it even weirder. I don't know. Like,
I mean, I think
it's been 15 years.
I was about to say, you make a very good
20
point.
years almost.
You make a good point when you talk about the time lapse from when they've passed. As it continues to age, it gets worse in terms of, I guess not worse, but it's more uncomfortable on how it's going to hit because it just
gets corny.
Okay, I'll take that.
And a lot of these beats that he had on these beat tapes, because I've heard them, I have a lot of these, and I've had them for 2 decades. Like, they were demos.
Yeah.
So were they taking the demos and looping the demos? Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I know what it's like to have beat tapes and have demos.
Somebody reinterpolating the demo or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
even that ain't gonna hit the same.
It's like you have to be super tasteful with it. I think that's my only thing. It's like
taste and intention.
Taste and the people around you. Like, and not everybody that's around you is worth. Look, my mother means well, and I know she loves me. But would I put my mother in charge of my catalog to distribute it after I pass away? Probably not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I would put it for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, cool. Yeah. You take it. I know you're not going to do me bad.
Exactly.
You know
I'm going to take care of you. Yeah.
So,
But there's always the thing where I'm like, you know, if this is going to people's families, their kids, then who am I to hate on it? But at the same time, just from knowing artists and the argument that you just made,
legacy matters.
You know,
it does.
You just can't, for lack of a better term, whore out what I made when I was alive to anybody just so you can get a little bit of money over here. Because, you know, once again, Jay Dilla's legacy is more to us, the fans, than what it's probably ever generated to him monetarily and his family.
I like that.
So
the balance, taste, do it with taste. Please do it with taste if you're going to do something like that. That's all I say.
But that's what, you know, because that's where, you know, with the whole Biggie duets, it wasn't even that the music was particularly bad. I just thought it was it was distasteful at this point to hear these records, you know. And first of all,
it came off corny, like Terry used corny. Biggie duets.
When it came out, I wanted to hear it. I ain't gonna lie,
I did too.
And then, but as time went on, and you start losing these artists and hearing what they're doing to the music after they pass, you're like, man, that don't really sound right.
It's because we're having legacy talks now, and this is a part of his legacy to some degree. Now, granted, we don't really factor that into the Biggie albums, but it still is a part of it. And
you know, because once you hear it, and you're like, first of all, it got to the point where it was like, okay, I'd heard everything Big had done, whether it be a B-side, you know, something that wasn't supposed to be released that they had cleaned up. And at this point, like, now I'm hearing you take verses from songs I really, really liked and turning them into songs that I don't like at all.
Just to be with this artist.
Or in groups that weren't even out when he was alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
Well, especially if you're talking about somebody. If we're gonna use Jay Dillon. Somebody mentioned Common earlier. Like if there's beats that we haven't heard, we'll just say because he's had tapes floating around for years. But let's say there's a stash that we just haven't heard, right?
That Common has,
or Busta Rhymes is going to jump on.
Right. Like I remember there was supposed to be a project called Diligence. And I think part of it
came out. Some of it came out.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you got beats like that and Common is like, or Busta's like, yo, let me take them. That was my boy. We're going to do about 6 or 8 and let's just put it out. I'm all for it. Come on with it.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like that works, but I'm with you on the taste.
Like when Erykah Badu had some Dilla production on her albums, but she worked with Dilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man. I think the phrase is just like you said, Lone, intention and just tastefulness, man. If you're gonna do it, because
not everybody out here has taste, man.
No, you preaching to the choir.
You know, like
you gotta tell me.
It's just a lot of corniness.
Because everybody's intentions are good.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes it's about that bread. And when you're talking legacy, you can take a legacy hit easy. We've seen it happen.
Yeah.
So